Welcome. My name is Anja Amelung, and today I would like to share with you why I am working in the field of feminine embodiment, Tantra and Qigong, and how my journey was from trauma to Tantra, and how Tantra affects my whole life, every single day. So I would like to start by sharing my story with you, and maybe some of you can relate to the one or other part of it. And I would like to invite you to listen with an open heart and to feel what you feel in your body when I share my story with you. Let's begin. So I was born and raised in Germany in a very loving, kind, beautiful and rich environment, in the sense of I had everything I needed, enough food, there was no violence, there was no big trauma. It was a very, very, really, really beautiful and nature connected place. So our house is built of wood. We have a garden, we have a pool, and we have woods immediately behind the house. We have a view into the mountains, and it's very connected to all of the elements. We have a fireplace. And my parents were super loving. They did the best for us. They did everything they could for us children. And I deeply love, respect, and appreciate them. And we have a really good connection. And still, they came to this world with their own experiences, with their own traumas. So when my parents were born, it was the end of the war, of the Second World War in Germany. So my father still has these imprints of the war in his body, bombs and sirens and protection, anxiety, escaping, violence, all these things. And both of my parents and we as children, I carry these imprints as well. So I carry the collective imprints of my parents, of my ancestors in my system. So it's, for Germany, it's 2 world wars, right? It's the First World War, the Second World War. So it's lots of overwhelming emotions of survival, of not enough. So the experience of my grandparents and my parents was that there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough protection, there wasn't enough food, there wasn't enough attention, there wasn't enough nourishment. There wasn't enough. And this carried out then into their lives that kind of they weren't enough. So my mom really became an overachiever, overdoer, being in her masculine to do, to achieve, to all the time scanning the environment, being on a high level attention, like in a fight and flight all the time to be safe. And for my father, thank God, it was a bit different. He was more in his, more connected to his inner child, and he was, more playful and more connected to nature. So this imprint wasn't that strong. And then in my mother, I could feel as well this imprint of the Catholic Church. So she left this. But her father was very strict Catholic, and there's this huge imprint from this ancestor line. And I was a wish child, so my mom so wanted me. And when I talk about about her pregnancy, she says it was a beautiful and easy pregnancy. She felt amazing. She could kind of do things until almost she gave birth and all of this. And yet, for some reason, I was born with a hormonal imbalance, which means that my body from birth until today never produced the feminine hormone estrogen. And there's a huge lack of progesterone as well. So it turned out when I became a teenager. So when I was 13, 14, the women around me started to get their periods. They started to be like, the breasts were growing. They started to become women. More sensual, more sexual, all these things. I didn't. And it was very, very painful and shameful for me to be the only one who had no breasts, no period. So I really had to hide in the shower when we went on class trips, and it was, I know that the boys were talking about it, and I really feel bad about it. And at that time, there were no wonder bras, right? There were no bras who made my breasts bigger or even made breasts. And I never was offered a surgery to get breasts, so it was a huge shame thing for me. With 16, my mom took me to an endocrine specialist after we have been to two female doctors. And he figured out that I have a hormonal imbalance and that my body is not producing these hormones, which then resulted in me taking estrogen from outwards in. So I had to put plasters on my body. It didn't feel good, it didn't look like nice, and you know, it wasn't very cool. But through this, a little bit of breasts developed. And I kind of had a little bit of blood through the little skin which my uterus developed, but it wasn't really a period. 2 years later, I started to take the pill to prevent being pregnant and to provide my body with the hormones which I need as a woman. When I turned 32, I was in a long-term relationship for 4 years. We built up a whole huge company together, e-bike lifestyle, a company for lifestyle e-bikes. And in this situation, I wanted to get married, and I wanted to have children, and I wanted to live what everyone else around me lived. And it was always my vision to have a family. Like, my deepest wish and desire was to have a family, to live in a family container, to give and to serve and to be a mother and to contain 4 children and their friends, and to really create a huge house where everyone is welcome, and to really live this family life. And then I stopped taking the pill. And I did not become pregnant. Instead, I fell into menopause. I experienced all the symptoms women have when they are in menopause, which is heat in the body. It's like out of the sudden you sweat, it's super hot, mood swings, like crazy mood swings, really, really bad depression. It was the first time in my life I ever had depression. I was always like the sunshine. I was happy and playful and fun. Life was easy and light, and I was giving and sharing, and I fell into a very, very deep depression at that time through this hormonal imbalance. And I experienced lots of these things which come up with menopause, insomnia, and lots of these things. So 8 months later, it was already May 2023, 13, and I just turned 33. I went to a specialist, a huge endocrine hormonal center in Munich, which provides women who want to have a child with hormonal advice and substitutions and all this kind of stuff. So I went there, I made the whole body and hormonal test, and the man who was doing the tests and then delivered the results to me explained to me in a not very empathic way that I cannot have children. And this moment was the most shocking moment of my whole life. And still, when I share this with you, I feel tears in my eyes. Because I could not imagine to not have children, to not have a family. And still it's hard for me, 10 years later. And then there was no real safety net. So there was not a real emotional support when I received this. And it made things even worse. So of course I shared it with my partner. He couldn't feel it. For him it wasn't important to have children or not. He couldn't really feel or understand my pain about it. And I shared with friends, and some of them, they could really feel me, and others, yeah, were more like, okay, accept, and kind of different vision. But this really threw me into like the deepest depression ever. I split up with my partner because the life I was living with him was not a life I could imagine without children. It was not possible for me. And I realized that I was living more his life and more his dreams, and not my life and not my dreams. And it was very, very sad and painful because I loved him so much. And I still do feel love for this person. He's a beautiful man, but it's not the right person for me. We don't have the same vision. We don't have the same wish how we want to explore and experience life. So I left. And this took me then 10 years ago to a very, very long, intense, crazy painful journey of awakening and healing. So I went through several burnouts, depressions, countless situations where I just wanted to kill myself because I wasn't able to hold all these overwhelming feelings of physical pain in my stomach, of emotional pain in my heart and every cell of my being about this, about not being able to have children and not being in a relationship, about like really separated and cut out of society, which is designed for families and not for single women who cannot have children. So additionally to the pain of not being able to deliver a child to this world, not being able to have a family, what my wish was, additionally I experienced that almost like most of my friends disappeared step by step out of my life, and I lost them. So over this period of 10 years, I lost most of the people I loved the most. And that was so painful. And you wonder why should I lose them? Yeah, it's very easy to explain, because as soon as someone becomes a mother, a father, the focus shifts, of course, and it's perfectly how it is. It's not bad, it's how it is. You know, the focus shifts to the family and to raising the child, to building a family, to making money, to being able to provide for that family, to take care of the family, to maybe go on a career, all these things, right? So I was kind of pushed out of their experience and out of their lives. There was not much time left for the friendship to me. And as well, not being able to participate in their life experience, because I could not share about my child. I was not invited to child birthday parties or school starts, or I could hold space, but I couldn't really share their worries. And they couldn't really feel me. So, and as well, I think most of them even realized what it meant for me that I cannot have children. And probably I wasn't able to really voice it and to share my feelings and my pain. And my wish to stay integrated in their lives, not being separated. Because as a single woman, you're not invited to couple dinners. You're not, you know, it's really hard to survive in this society without having a family and being part of society through this. So I wasn't able to make new friends because I bring my child to kindergarten or school and all these things. And yeah, I feel there's like a label as well, which society gives women who do not have children. And all of this led to my inner calling and decision to leave Europe, to leave this world and environment which wasn't friendly and healthy for me, for my system and my situation. So I moved to Thailand in August 2019. And after being into several burnout programs and the clinic and working with therapists and all these things, I felt that I need to take my destiny and my healing into my own hands. And this is why I went to Thailand. And why I took a Tantra teacher training there on Koh Phangan. And over time, many other trainings around human bodies, how we function, how we are programmed, how we can reprogram, how we can transform trauma in our bodies, what ancestor and collective trauma means, what it does to our bodies, how it affects our all-day life, and how to heal all of this through family constellation, through therapy, through breath work, somatic body work, tantra, qigong, and sound healing, ecstatic dance, and tons of other tools. I don't want to name all of them. So yeah, I went on a full-time journey for many years and studied myself, studied trauma, studied hormones, nutrition, detox. I studied female bodies, how they function. I studied female sexuality. I studied relationships, intimacy, how we communicate. I studied NLP and yeah, tons of other things. In order to understand what was going on in me, what is going on in my system, why is my body in menopause since birth? what's going on? So you can measure that there's a signal going from my brain to my ovaries, but they do not respond. And over like many years, tons of specialists and healers and whoever I'm visited trying to heal and to figure out more, I finally came across the information that my glands might be blocked by heavy metals, by microplastic, by mold, by whatever. But these are the three main things. And since January this year, 2023, I started a herbal cleanse, like a very deep cleanse on cellular level. And slowly, slowly over time, I could feel and see first results. And then a very special thing happened this year on my birthday. So on my birthday in May this year, I was on Kopangan, and none of my friends had time to celebrate with me for several reasons. And I was really sad, and still there was a party in Wainam, so I go with my motorbike, took the boat to this little beach, Wainam, where the party was and where some of our community people were. And one of my dearest sisters came there to support me. She had a calling to come. And we swam out in the sea, in the ocean. I love the ocean. I love to make love to the ocean, to the waves, to the water, and I'm just a mermaid and a dolphin at the same time. So we swam, and out of the sudden we reached a coral reef. We stopped and we started sharing deep things. And then we discovered that this coral reef had like a round shape, like a womb-shaped thing. And then out of the sudden, after I shared about my menopause and my hormones and all the things, and my crazy IBS, I forgot this one. Like since over 20 years, I have strong IBS. It's fucking painful. It kills me. It got stronger the last 3 years, like crazy. I like most of the time I'm in pain, physical pain through this, and I cannot eat, and it's a different story. So I shared, and then suddenly she looked at me and she said, I feel this is a womb and you should go into this womb. And then I swam into the middle of this coral reef. And I stand up, and the water was just reaching my knees. So it must have looked interesting from the beach. So I stand in this coral reef. She was sitting in front of me. And then she started guiding me into a womb healing ritual. And it was so powerful. So I should really take my mom as a baby back into my womb and to nourish her with everything she would have needed in her life. That's so powerful. And then I rematerialized her, it sounds strange, I know, back into energy. And I could feel that my womb felt different. And then I was guided to a cleansing ritual. So light came in and really cleansed my whole system. And I was cleaning myself with the water and really doing this guided by divine. And I could see as well lots of blood flowing out of me and cleaning, and that kind of the channels are opening energetically. We swam back to the beach. I spent the night there. I had huge openings and channelings there overnight at the beach. And 24 hours later, after this experience, for the first time ever in my whole life, I received the period. It was something I cannot explain. I could feel the energy from the divine going through me and then becoming this blood which flows out of me, but like a river, like tons, like lots of blood just flowing out. And since I'm so hypersensitive, I can really feel it inside of me and inside of my yoni, and I can feel what this energy is doing to my body. And it was wow. And this realization that really, this is what every woman sees and experiences every single month. And how can it not be sacred? How can they not feel the power and the sacredness in this? This creation, this pure creation. And I really gave myself into this experience. And after that, 2 times more, in a monthly cycle, I had my period. And then it stopped again. But for 3 months, with 43, I was able to have this magical experience. And when you are a woman listening to this right now, I really invite you, put your hand on your womb to connect with the magical and powerful being that you are. And that you start feeling it, not suppressing it. There's a huge misunderstanding in society about women, about femininity, about the cycles we are going through every single month. The cycle of creation, of rebirthing and dying. And this is something we as women and we as society need to deeply understand, to feel, and to find new forms for women to be in this. And as well, to create spaces for women, to allow women to feel and embrace their femininity and their gifts. And I know that some companies and countries already started to create menstrual leaves. And I think this is a good thing to give women space. Space to be women. And to really connect to their female parts. And to be honest, having your period should not at all be painful. And even giving birth can be an experience which is not painful, which can be, how to say it, more, I know even women who experienced giving birth as orgasmic. This is rarely, and most women are not there yet, but I know from many of my friends who gave birth at home that there's a different experience possible. And I really wish for you and for other women to open this possibility for yourself so that you can connect deeper to this gift of creation. My invitation is to whatever you're going through right now and however your connection with yourself, your female body, your sexuality, your womb is, that you open yourself more for all of this and to embrace this more, because it's so, so special. And I wish that we as humanity, as society, create a safe world for women. A world in which human beings and female body are deeply appreciated and honored for who they are and for being women, female beings, female energies with female qualities. And that these female qualities are much more worshipped and appreciated in society, in family containers, and in the corporate world. Because this is what we need. We need to bring balance into the unhealthy masculinity we are experiencing right now. We need to bring in more femininity, more softness to balance both elements again. And when we as women are not feeling our own sacredness, we are not able to transmit this to men, human beings in male bodies. And then they will never be able to feel this and to worship us out of their deepest love and desire for us. So it's a common journey. It's a journey for both of us, women and men. And I invite you to go with me on this journey, on this path, to change toxic society and environments we're living in, to reconnect to yourself, your body, your sexuality, your creation, to Mother Earth and to the divine, in order to become your true self, to be fully you, and to be able to be the most beautiful expression, the most authentic expression of yourself in this lifetime. If you want to learn more about this, if you're seeking guidance and support in this, in all of these topics, or just one of these topics, please reach out. Reach out. I'm here. I'm here for you, to support you. Share my experiences, my psychic and healing gifts, and to create containers for you to go on your own individual journey, to become the best, most beautiful, most powerful, most empowered, most embodied version of yourself, to connect deeply to your essence and your eras, this life force energy, which is often named as Kundalini energy, to come into manifestation and creation. This is what I wish for you. I love you. I honor you. Thank you for being here with me today and for listening to this to the end.